Here we go. I'm going to clean my monitor. You know, the thing, I love my XP pen monitor, but it's a monitor. So it gains dust every day just existing. So I've got to go through every day, and I've got to clean it up. So yesterday, my microphone got zotted by static electricity, and it died about halfway through. Now, what I have also learned about Restream is that it will, you can't reset these things. So this time I brought up Adobe Audition. Hey, Brent, how you doing this morning, man? I brought up Adobe Audition so that next time if it drops during the middle of it, I can reset all of the things in Adobe Audition, which is kind of a convoluted way to do this. So, hey, Restream folks, if you are listening, one thing that we could really, really, really use would be the ability to reset our microphone and camera in show, so to speak. So, okie dokie, okie dokie, okie dokie, okie dokie. I'm going to share my other screen here. There we go. Okay, we are still working on the same thing we were working on yesterday. And I left it exactly where it was when we were there yesterday. I've done some other work for Bellatrix Rising during the night, so I didn't need to come back to this. Yeah, number 5 here, and number 6 here, and this is number 7, and here's number 8. There are only 8 illustrations required on this. So I'm going to look at my instructions and see what client wants. Client wants number 7, below deck of a ship. The side plates have dropped, and a first mate is waving his right hand at the crews of cannons to fire. Okay, so my thought here on this one is we have, this is the wrong tool for the job. We need gray. And I need myself a pencil for this. I'm going to give myself a nice little pencil here. Let's get a little bit more pencil. This is such a rough at this point. So, looking at the line of Elios as one unit helps a whole lot. By the way, there's only 2 left here, but that's just step 1. So we're going to go into step 2 in a second here, and I'm going to look at these as a unit. But I want to start with just what my feelings on this scene are. And my feeling is I'll have the dude, first mate here, and since the client specifically asked for right hand, I'll put his right hand out like that. But then I'm going to put the center beam of the ship right here with open plates. I'm assuming that these are running guns, the ones that were out the front of ships. And then we'll be seeing this running out like this. And then another one would be right here being run out. And then right over here is the enemy ship. Right? I actually got friended by the author of this novel last night, so she and I are in some semblance of communication. I have no earthly idea whether she'll join us or not, but I figure that's kind of an interesting thing. Just seems a decent person, so I feel like I should be quoting Princess Bride this point in time, which I think anybody would appreciate. So the idea here is there's these deck plates. Hi, pencil not working. There we go. Pencil suddenly working. Nice. The things you don't have whenever you do these things not in. He'd be yelling. Blah, 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 blah. So there we go. He's yelling at people. Get moving. Pick it up. What's your problem? You know, that kind of stuff. That's important. Give him the... I can make it comedic when I'm doing the roughs like this, because when I finish these off and do the final version of this, I will have the ability to be in fine enough detail that I don't need to be comedic about it. The comedic drawing style, the over-exaggeration, is great for looking at these. There we go. Do this. Give it some rails to run it out. Right. There we go. And if for some reason my volume drops again, just give me a holler. I will not mute my microphone during the broadcasts, because I like to just kind of keep an ongoing running chatter, I guess, because I like to chatter. I won't even mute it if my 10-year-old walks in here. I just told him not to mess with me. But he never listens, so that could change at any moment. But if for any reason you all of a sudden hear me stop talking for more than, say, I don't know, 10 or so seconds, then we've probably got an issue. Okay, looking at Elio 8. Elio 8 calls for a character to be... Right? He walks into mine too. Yay, minions. So it says, Elio 8 is one of the characters, her smashed goggles up on her head. Okay, so this is kind of complicated, it looks like. I've got the main lead male character right here. Here's one leg, here's the other leg, right? He's on his back, and he's looking up like this. And we've got this character who is pointing a gun right at him. So we've got kind of wild focus going on here. She's also got a cutlass, which I'm going to have to represent in some way. She's holding the cutlass, and I haven't figured out how I'm going to do that yet. But I do know that I want her want her like tilted in one way. I'm not sure what I want to do here. So I've got at least this. I'm going to do her arm like that. So, So I'm not liking, I mean, I'm kind of liking where I'm going with this one, but I feel like she should be even further back. That makes any sense. Because I kind of feel like I want to really push this angle a lot. But this is going to be hard because the angle's really cockeyed here for what I'm seeing in my head. So let's draw the Bridgman boxes here. Let's talk about this, right? Oof. I think I may even take out the main character too, because I really want to push this angle. Because we're looking up, right? So we're going to look up. So maybe if you do main character here, like this, he's on the ground, right? Put his stomach like this. Sometimes you just got to break all the way down to Bridgman boxes. Ugh, that's so difficult. Then here is this character. She's crazy. I mean, that's actually in her name, the title of the character. So, kind of want to, but the angle that we're at is like this, right? So, putting in that box there, putting in her stomach like this, one shoulder here, one shoulder here. Then across this, we've got, oof, this is so rough. We've got like here is really where that arm is. And then there's where this arm is. Ooh, ugly. I feel like I've made it too big. Okay, so we take this and we shrink it down. There we go. Now we're cooking with Mazzola. Okay. Get this squared away. There. Except that it's circled, so I guess it's getting it circled away. Here's her forearm. And the gun is right up against this guy's face. Right like this. And then, just like that, he is staring down the barrel right there. Put his hand here, like this. Because he's caught, man. He is done. He's a gunner. One leg out like that. Right? And she also has that cutlass, and I've got to figure out how to deal with the cutlass. Kind of feel like anything she does that's, you know, like holding the cutlass like this, I don't know. Yeah, it's rough. Putting all this perspective in here is rough. Ultimately, I will give up on this and render it out in 3D. And that's what's going to end up happening. I'm going to use Daz Studio. I'll get so sick of redrawing this picture that I will finally just take it into Daz Studio, pose two mannequins in this mode, and then just run over those lines, and it will be so much easier for me, and it will take a lot of the pain out of what I'm doing here. And actually, it's because for me, I love dynamic pictures. I love them when they're super dynamic like this. And I'm afraid that I'm not afraid. I hate when the perspective is screwed up. And so it's the one thing that like really messes with my artist eye, and I will literally spend weeks on a picture trying to straighten out perspective. And so what I will do is I have learned to use 3D to overcome that problem. Otherwise, I will, she's crazy, so we gotta have her eyes like this. Yeah, I got you. Right. So, the perspective will kill me, and so I've learned to use 3D just to offset that, because otherwise I can't be a production artist at all. I will spend so many hours just with the damn perspective. Hey, Sean, welcome aboard, man. So we are still working on the thing we were working on yesterday. Okay, so here's this guy's head. He is right in the way, and he has the gun aimed at his face. Now that I have all 8 Elios in here that I need. By the way, Elio 1 has already been approved by the client, so I don't need to submit Elio 1 to the client for approval. I just need to submit the other 7. So that's what we're doing today. So this is the preliminary. You're welcome, Sean. This is the preliminary sketches. These, I'll give a little bit of background for what Elios are. These are illustrations for a novel that is being produced by Airship 27, which is Ron Fortier's group. And he's contracted me to put together the 8 illustrations for the book. The book is called The Silver Pentacle, and it's written by Nancy. Gosh, it'd be really sucky if Nancy's like actually watching this video right now and I have forgotten her name. But I am so bad with names. I'm lucky I've remembered her first name is Nancy. So, but she wrote this fascinating book, and now I'm going through and illustrating it. And so, it's one of those things where, in this instance, the client wants approval at this point, so they want to approve all drawings before I get neck deep. Each one of these Elios is going to take 2 to 3 hours each. Yeah, right. I mean, I don't even know who you are, Bob. I mean, jeez. So each one of these Elios is going to take 2 to 3 hours a piece. I figure to do them right. Like I said, I'm going to go on ahead and there's another step after this. The next step after this is to go on ahead and just set these scenes up in a 3D program so I can get my perspective squared away. And then I'll go back over that and make them into people, because, yeah, it's just not really worth it to use just 3D. But I can't stand bad perspective, and it really bothers me. So, anyway, so we've already pretty much, I'm pretty happy with Elio 2. Let's back up here. Pretty happy with Elio 2 as it is. Now that I've got all of them in, I'm going to go back over this now with like a blue-ish pen or something like that to give me a little bit more of a. I'm going to try to focus it in a little. So take my sketch pencil here. Let's drop it down to say 17 or so, right? Okay, so I'm going to take this pencil and I'm actually, since it's blue, I'm going to drop it down. Okay, so now I'm going to get closer to this so that I can see what I'm doing. And I've already kind of established her eye line here. And this is the what we call the face cross, the cross that goes across the face so that we can get a level of where the eyes are and where the nose is lined up. It allows us to see where the character's face is in a lot of ways, so that it allows us to kind of get an idea of what's going on, right? So now I can see where her ears are. I can see where her eyebrows would be, her eyes. I envision she has sort of a button-like nose. Stuff like that. This gives us the ability to just sketch in what's going on so that when people look at this picture, they'll be like, oh, okay, I now know what he's doing, right? I kind of get an idea. She's very young, or at least young looking, is the impression I had gotten from the story. So I'm going to give her not a lot of wide shoulders, and it specifically says the character has a small chest and thin waif-like hips. And she's wearing some kind of blouse, right? This is the first time we meet these characters. So I want to make sure that I've got a good close-up of them so you can get a sense of who they are. Right? And then the guy in this story is large and in charge, I guess. So I'm going to give him the strong facial features of someone who's like that. It's got strongish nose. But even he is perplexed by this environment. So even though he's large and in charge, the environment that they're in right now is unsettling to them, which is why I've chosen to have them both looking out like this. It didn't say he had long hair. It said he had short hair, specifically in the description. So there's that. And I'll give him sort of that look. Right. Butt chin. Right? See? But see, now Sean knows me from my early days, and he knows that I despise, I hate charcoal, because it's such a nasty mess in the pastels and everything like that. And I love working digitally because I still get the effect of charcoals, but I don't have to suffer from having all that crap on my hands. I'm such a wimp when it comes to that. So there we go. He's got his butt chin now. Give him a chest sort of going like this because he's big chested. I think it's important to have the and this is how we go south in these things. Always people wonder how these things go south, right? Now I will design up their clothes later, right? But for right now, I'm just getting the rough concept of what's going on here down. Right? So now I've got both of them in the scene. I'm probably going to have to move the scene over because even though I have made this somewhat uncomfortable, no, I'm going to do it afterwards. I'll do that afterwards. Which cup size? Her cup size or his cup size? Always wondering. So then I'm going to also go back through here and highlight some of the things that I really want the art director to see. So I want him to see that there is a fallen cobra head here, right? Those of you who do not know, a cobra head is the technical term for a streetlight, right? So I want him to see this fallen cobra head, and I really want that. Yeah, I don't know. Bigger. There. And then I've got another collapsed cobra head here, right? They're falling down. There is a delay. And it's kind of funny how the delay works. It's only I think about 30 seconds though. You're only about 30 seconds behind. So we've got a crashed car here, so I want to make this clear. This is a car. So that when the art director looks at this, he'll see that we have a crashed car, right? And we'll make it a wheel. Like that. And you got sort of a crashed car here. And again, I will use a 3D program to clean up these cars because otherwise there is no way, right? So moving down the street here, there's the street line. I want that to be like back there. All I'm doing here is just making this clearer what I'm after. Right? So I'm trying to make sure I define the perspective. Everything's rubble. The city is destroyed. That kind of stuff like that. And I'm really trying to define this so that it's clear. All right. So we've got effectively a trashed street. We've got things on the road here which tell me a little bit more what's going on. So when I ask now, when we talk about, I think that everybody will be able to read this book at some point in time. I'll be all proud of the fact that it's out there. And I appreciate that you want to see it with my drawings. Yeah, exactly. That was pretty much what I had envisioned. Of course, we've been watching Marvel movies as a family during this time here. So, I actually envisioned that this is like New York City post Avengers. And sort of that kind of stuff. Now, I feel like Elio 2 is pretty clear of what I'm after and what I'm going for. It will be very clear to the art director as to what that scene is. Elio 3, we're coming back through here now. And I'll move us over here. Elio 3, the main female protagonist is breaking down and crying right here. And then this guy here, the male protagonist, is comforting her. When I first came through here in Pass 1, all I really wanted to say was, hey, this is what I'm doing. I want all black except for these two, right? And so but now that I'm here into more detail, it is not clear what's going on down here. So I'm going to go through and fix that. Now, we know that this guy is big and hulky. Hulk smash. He's not big and hulky, but he's trying to be caring, right? He's trying to kind of comfort her in this scene. So he's actually asking questions in this scene. But I'm figuring he's somewhat caring. And I don't know, Nancy, if you are watching this, if you are, and I'm going off path for the scene, I would love intervention at this time. This is the best time, if you're watching, this is the best time to come in and say, no, that's not what that scene means. Because once I've spent 3 hours on the Elio, it's going to be extraordinarily irritating to go back and difficult to go back and fix. So I'm all about, no, you misunderstood the scene, and then, okay, that's cool. Tell me what the scene was about, and we're good. Right? Okay, so he's got to be here and here. Okay, so our female protagonist is here, and she's just got her hands over her face. She's had enough. She's done. She's cooked. Right? So I'm going to bend her back, and we want to make sure she looks like she's bent. Oh, and that brush is huge. Let's not do that. Make life miserable for myself here. So I've bent her back, and we're going to hunch her shoulders. It gives the effect that she is beaten in a lot of ways, either not physically, but definitely mentally. We move into her knees here. And she's young, so she can still do this, the W with her knees, which is good because that actually looks great for like a collapse. You sort of flump down. I can't do this anymore. It would just kill me. And then I'd be in pain, and then I'd hate people, and I hate doing that worse than I hate charcoals. So, put that foot there, and this foot like this. And he's going to put a hand right here. See you later. Bye, Sean. It was good talking to you, man. Hate pastels, hate charcoals. Love drawing like this, though, because it looks like charcoals and looks like pastels, but it isn't. Okay. This is a really horrible picture, but that's all right. Like I said, I'll fix it with the 3D render. It doesn't have to be pretty, just has to show the point, right? One of the things about Helios is you want to show moments of humanity. If you've got you're illustrating the book, and the book has the story already. It's not, you don't need to work to I like this. It looks like some kind of Lego man. Oh God. Okay. That's the other thing using a maquette does, is it helps me keep perspective straight so that even the people don't look weird. Okay, that's what I meant to do. So, one of the things that you do with Helios is it's punctuation marks, right? I mean, it's, Bob and Jane are in this scene and they're arguing and yada, 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 and going back and forth, and they're arguing over the mystical widget. You don't draw them arguing about the mystical widget. You draw when Jane throws the mystical widget onto the ground and it shatters, right? I mean, because that's the thing about Helios, is that they're the punctuation of the scene. And so you want the emotional beat. And so I'm looking in here at this picture, and I'm like, well, the emotional beat isn't him questioning her and her crying. The emotional beat is when she finally snaps. That's the emotional beat. So I'm going to have these two characters like this. And then, I don't know. I mean, I might have to go back and re-look at the tension of this particular scene. But I was under the impression that the intention, that we've got this section here where, I don't know, maybe I feel kind of weird about that. We'll come back on that. One of the things I will do next, after I've gone through all of these 8 Helios, is I will go back through and recheck the scene that they're referring to. Because now it's been 3 weeks, 4 weeks since I read this scene, and I've forgotten what's in there. So that's why it'd be cool if the author was here, because she would remember the scene just fine. She wrote it. So anyway, okay, moving right along, we're going to move to this guy here. This is Helio 4. And redraw that so that you can see that, because it just looks like a fuzzy, blurry thing. The scene here is a super dramatic scene. Bad guy is here. All the bad guy's minions are right here. He's, this is a showdown between the good guy and the bad guy. And the bad guy here is, the good guy has a glove, and the glove is supernatural in one way or another. And I'm trying not to give away too much about this story, but the good guy has pulled out this glove, right? So, and I wanted it to be at the center of this piece, so you could truly see, this is dramatic, right? I mean, the glove is the big deal, the big widget, the big thingy, right? Right now it looks like something from Iron Man, but it won't when I'm done working with it. It's, you do what you do. And okay, so it's Iron Man for the moment. And maybe it's got some kind of scroll work on it, or whatever, that makes it not look like Iron Man's glove. Okay, maybe I'm going way over the. It's too early for me to be playing that game. We really probably ought not to be trying to decide whether it's Iron Man's glove or not. Okay, so he's here. There's that strong brow and the butt chin, which probably will get changed as time goes on. Here's his ear, right? And then we've got hair. So, see, this is why I get killed by these huge erasers. Really shouldn't have done that. Oh, that's right, I can redraw it. Won't kill me to redraw the ear. Right? So we've got the ear. And then I'm going to have him, he's not hunched over per se, but the camera angle is below him. So we're going to, no, David, the Infinity Gauntlet. David, these are internal ilios for a novel. I'm not working the cover. I'm working the internals. So these are like you're going to get. It's a 50,000 word, or I guess it's actually closer to 80 or 100,000 word novel, and there are 8 internal ilios for it. And so I've got to approve. This has got to be approved by the art director. What ilios are going to go in here? So I've had number 1 approved, but the remainder of them have not been. I'm actually bringing up the book over here so that I can take a look at what it is. Because I actually don't know whether it's a novella or not. It's still counting. Okay, you count. People who write novels in Word end up having to deal with Word's limitation to size and stuff like that. And I'm sure that most novelists hate it. Just like most of us artists hate Photoshop in one way or another, but we keep using it. It's the only one we got. So... excuse me. Okay. So we got this going on here. If I were to look at this in a 3D way, this arm is really like way back here, right? I mean, so his elbow is going to be like right there. And this guy goes like this, and this is why I use 3D models, because that's just horrible. But it gets the point across, and we'll all understand where we're going here, and we'll all get to Scotland before you and stuff. All right. So, here's some of these stupid lines. Yeah, it's funny. I just got all aggravated about large erasers, and then now I need a large eraser, and I'm not using it. And it's despite the so yeah, there we go. So then we go in here, space, and his leg is like this, and I did his leg small in the original, so I'm going to bring that leg up. Right, here's the seam to his pants, just to illustrate that it's pants. So we'll get back to that. Now the bad guy, I'm going to have to go back in and look at the bad guy. It's a demon of some sort. So, and David would do a much better job of this than me, but it's all right. I'm not really. I'll check in on him in a minute. Then right, and give him some big nose. Anyway, and he'll be hunched over because he's in some kind of battle pose as well. And he'll do this, and then this. I'll figure out what his actual hands are later. I'm just putting in hands. And here would be where the bottom of his chest is. So give hips that go like this. And then, I don't know, maybe he'd have his knees up here. And maybe give him like satyr legs. The long-ish legs like this. Fun fact about creatures that have reverse legs. They don't actually have reverse legs. What they've got is very, very short lower legs, whatever you want to call those. So they're just very short to the joint, and then very long out here to this foot. Right? Then I'll take the eraser and go in here like this, and go like that. Alrighty. So this step, as you might see, is taking longer. It's taken us 45 minutes to get through these three. I'll probably get through this guy and plausibly to there as well. I'm not 100% sure. But we'll figure it out. Either way, this is one of the reasons why you don't want to ever underpay artists. Yes. And these guys are zombies. Brains. Right? Brains. I'm losing my head. Gark. Just enough to tell what's going on. It is a lot of work. Always is. It kind of looks cute now. Even when we're fast, this takes a long time. And another dude out here. Maybe he's like, hey, look, there's like something over here. Because, zombies are so stupid. So there's that. Right. So now our bad guy's got zombie vision going or whatever. Like I said, I'll go back over this story. I have impressions of these scenes, but I don't remember exactly what was going on. Yeah, we haven't even started actually drawing them yet. I mean, we've just been doing just the preliminary on it. Okay, Elio 5 is is our hero, heroine, and a new heroine, which comes up in this section right here, after this section right here. They're all heading towards the captain's cabin on the ship. This story has a very steampunk feel. It's extraordinarily steampunk, so I intend to make all of the artwork reflect that. Right, like this lantern. Right, which is on the ship's spar, one of the ship's spars, like that. And I give spines to the ship look very spiny. You're welcome. That's to Ron, because Ron's talking about giving advanced. And yeah, I mean, this is a great story. I think it's going to be a lot of fun once it's done. And, this works. So we've got our main character up here, the main male character. And so he's wearing something with an ascot, I'm assuming. And he is... We already worked out a lot of the blocking of this particular piece yesterday. So now we are at the stage of just trying to block in and give enough that when Ron and his head artist look over the piece, they can see what I'm headed for, and that's really what we're after right here. And she's got her hand over his like this. So right there. Because they're walking to the captain's cabin like this. I almost want to put a cape on him. I really do. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, she's going to have a very Victorian era style dress, obviously. Well, I guess it's not obvious, but I feel like that's what was called for in the story. I also feel like she's relatively conservative. So, unlike this character, I feel that our main lead is a relatively conservative young lady. So, I don't feel like she's going to have cleavage or anything off the top there. But she might have a corset of some sort. We'll have to figure that out. I'll have to come up with it and figure it out. Originally, I had her looking this way, but I don't feel like that's an appropriate thing. I think maybe she would actually be looking up at him at this point. So, and being somewhat happy and entertained by this. The feel I get from this character is that she's strong and capable, but also is fond of this guy. So I'll put her like this with a smile. Give her some hair. It's going this way. Ron had asked me to, right? Exactly. A cloak for evening wear. Ron had asked me to do these a while back, and I started drawing it, and then I really decided I needed to read the book. So I had to take a break and read the book. And I'm kind of glad I did, because I've got a different feel for the characters now than I did when I started. So thank you, Ron, for being patient and hanging out with me there on that one. I haven't decided what she looks like yet, so we just have a generic thing for her, and we'll come back to it later. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on these in case the client wants to redo it for some reason, which would be fine. Totally fine. Put her elbow down like this. And he's stepping forward, so I'm going to put this leg here. And put his weight on this leg. Right there. And then this leg's behind him. He's stepping out, as they always do. And then put that dress there like this. She's stepping forward as well. So we're going to put a lot of stress to the dress going backwards. Erase. erase, erase, erase. There we go. Stress to the back. And then we'll ultimately get this flow on the dress down here kind of going like that. Ooh. So you can see that. Yes. Okay. Well, you have settled it in for me then. He gets a cape. I have decided now because... And, of course, Ron may veto this, and that's okay. But for right now, he's got a cape. And that's important. Or an evening cloak. Okay. Now, she's taller. She's not as small. This other character over here is a much taller, she's more voluptuous. And I have... Right? Evening wear cloak. It's an evening wear cloak. We're just saying. And I kind of feel like, looking at the picture here now, almost tempted to reverse their grip. But then I feel like that does seem to go against the spirit. I'm also going to give him a sash. Sashes are cool. Sashes are all the rage. Right? So she's probably not, she's a more savvy, and a cane. Well, I don't think he can hold their hands if he's got a cane, or lock arms with them if he's got a cane. So kind of the opinion that maybe he doesn't have a cane at this point. He may not. We'll see. There's this other hand. Like that. And then we've got her. She is markedly... No. Where am I going here, people? Now she, in her Victorian dress, might have a low-cut dress. I would assume that's happening here. I like the puffy shoulder pad thingies. Poofy shoulder doohickeys. I don't know. I have no idea. But putting this in here, like this, she's looking like that. Maybe she's looking over at these guys. I don't know. Feels like. But she's just smiling. Right? So... He has lots of hair. Our protagonist is like an islander, or as far as ethnicity goes. And I get a lot of feel of like Pacific Islander or something like that. So there's not going to be a lot of curl or anything in her hair. Her hair is going to be very flat down against her body. She also gets the smaller frame, like an Asian frame. So working on that one's going to be a little bit... But this character, I didn't get the Pacific Islander feel from her at all. She's sort of your classic femme fatale. Except she's not really a fatale, but you get the idea. She seems to be much more of the classy, wearing a low-cut bustier and that kind of thing. So I'm going to give her more of that, and then give her... I love the dresses that had these wings, and I don't even know what they're called, but maybe somebody out there knows. But underneath and maybe Anna knows, because I know you wear this fashion is one of your styles. In fact, while drawing this, I am thinking a lot about some of the things you typically wear, because I'm like, yes, Anna wears stuff like this. because it's very much steampunk. So, but there's the wings, these like upper. It's like a long jacket that's put underneath the corset. I'm not sure what that's called, but we'll figure it out. She's stepping out too. And there we go. Oh, boy. I'm giving him no legs. He has no legs. And then go like this, and then up to here. And then that's more where we want this. That's why we do this in 3D, folks. All right. So there's that scene. And I feel like we're coming up on 1 hour, which means that I'm going to just do a little bit of a touch up on here to remind myself what I was doing, and then we will do the other 3 Leos tomorrow. Because I mean, I just keep working. It never stops. It never stops. Hey, but check it. The audio stayed with us through the entire... Okay, I'm joking. So, anyway. You guys are all like, damn it, Kai. You're such a jerk. I am. I'm a jerk. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to do that. Do that. And there we go. Yay sound. Alrighty. Look at all these Helios now. I've got the top 3 are complete. Let's save this so we don't lose it. And there we are. So we've got those going for us. And now so that's where we're messing with you, David. I love you, though. I love you, man. I love you, man. Okay. So there you go. Those are the Helios that we're working on now. I'll do the other 3 tomorrow, and then that should make it so that I can send it off to the client for approval. So appreciate you guys joining me, and I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m., and we will continue on with this thing. I don't know how to stop this thing. Oh, that's the button. There's the button. So, okay. Well, thanks for joining me. Talk to you all tomorrow. Bye.